Beep beep everybody, hope you're all having a great day. Thanks so much for tuning into the channel. Here we are at 272 Antiques and Collectibles Marketplace, which is located on Route 272. Also specifically 1300 North Reading Road, and this is in Stevens, Pennsylvania, south of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and Adamstown, Pennsylvania, which is further up Route 272. So inside, the first thing I found were a bunch of Phillies cards dated from 1987 to 1995. They were 3 for $1. I did look through them. I have basically, I think, all of them. They generally were common cards. Further back in the store, I found this display that was full of Pokemon and related kinds of things. This is stuff that I don't collect, but when I see a display like this, I like to get it on film in case any of you that view this are also collectors of this stuff. And they do have some packs for something I'm not really familiar with. That's a Topps Chrome product. That is not baseball down there. This seller had a lot of non-sports cards. In fact, I think of 272 Antiques has the most unopened packs of non-sports cards I think I've seen in any antique mall in Pennsylvania. There's a graded Trey Turner, the rookies, back there. Plus there are a few other sports here, as well as some more non-sports cards. And I found some small box sets. 1990 Donruss rookies, 1990 score traded. Looks like $10 each for each of those boxes. And there's a nice R2-D2 priced at $40. It says remote on the tag, so I assume it's remote controlled. This seller had a couple vintage era cards, Jackie Jensen and Joe Niekro. And there's a Lou Piniella rookie card to the right there that I quickly bypassed. An old Phillies team card and a Senators team card. And there's a Wander Franco, whose card will probably sit there for eternity. Here's some more stuff. Basketball cards. There's some vintage back there that I could not get a good look at. I see a Pujols rookie from 2001. There's a Yogi Berra signed card. There's a 71 Thurman Munson. $50 for that Winfield rookie. There's a Mattingly Fleer rookie graded 9 for $95. And over here are some factory sealed sets, 2017 for $195. And the other one was well over $200. And there's some comic books. That seller also had some supplies like penny sleeves and top loaders also available, and some more non-sports cards. Generally look like movies or TV series from back in the day. There's some political cards on that shelf. I see something that looks like Mork and Mindy in the back row on that shelf. Growing Pains, Harry and the Hendersons, Jaws 2, Dick Tracy, Menudo, The Worst from Mad Magazine, Speed Racer. I didn't know they made Speed Racer cards, but apparently they've made cards of just about everything, I guess. Over here, there were some Topps Bazooka packs. I picked up a few of these. I'll showcase what I got at the end of this video. And plus, there's some baseball legends. The Bazooka packs were $3 each. This seller had some autographed cards. I'm curious about the 75 Joe Torre because that's a facsimile signature that was printed during the printing process. So I don't know if it's signed on the back or the seller just doesn't know. Two Jim Rice signed cards look like they're going for $75. Now the Ed Kranepool one does have a signature above the facsimile signature, so I don't know what gives with the Joe Torre card. Maybe I'm wrong and the signature's on the back, but it's unusual for a player to sign the back of a card. A lot of vintage cards in here. Generally, I found the prices in these boxes were about Beckett full value, and it didn't matter what condition they were in. They were all about that price. And that was just a short perusal. I could be wrong. There may be some variation. This seller had some just boxes of cards. There's 2023 and there's some junk wax there as well. The 2023 box I did open up and there were inserts included with that, but I still think it's probably worth what he's selling at $7. Maybe it might be worth 10 to 12. Here's some more non-sports stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of this in this antique mall. There's a few baseball cards there. And this shelf shows some football cards, and there's a 1980 Topps Dodgers team card for $1. There's a 1975 Topps football, I guess, in that one. There's one of those large Donruss cards of Rickey Henderson, and there's some Pokemon cards. These baseball card albums were empty, so they were just selling the binder, and there's some cereal boxes below. Here's some more non-sports cards, some Batman packs. I think that one box has, it says election cards, so it's political stuff. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back there. There's some Battlestar Galactica wax pack wrappers, not the actual cards. This is one of my favorite sellers there. There's an autographed Ryan Sandberg biography for $23. There's a few other baseball books up above. There's a neat mixture of stuff here. I've always enjoyed visiting this place. There's a Donruss signed Cecil Cooper large card. I don't remember what those were called. There's a couple rack packs from the junk wax era. There's a pack from 97 Fleer. That's for $5. There's a travel edition classic. I think that said 23. Maybe there was something added on the end I couldn't really see. And some small box sets. And I definitely picked up some things from this seller, so I'll showcase that at the end of the video. I always like to check and see what this seller has. It's all kinds of neat stuff. Big stack of baseball card magazines from back in the day. It looks like it's $9 for the whole stack. So if you want to relive your youth and go back to those old catalogs, there's some. Those are empty vending card boxes. And there are some panels from wax boxes. I picked up a couple things from there too that I did not have. And there are some Dynamite magazines, Hot Dog magazine. Plus on that shelf there's a load of books, many of them baseball. Pulled out a couple things there. There's a scorecard with Steve Bedrosian on the cover, plus a ticket inside there for probably that same game. There's a calendar. On to the next seller. They have some mystery packs in here, $4, and there's what they claim are in there. It says not just commons, so just because it says that, there probably are commons in there based on the wording of that phrase. There's some vintage stuff, 75, 73, 69 Necro. It's really hard to see with the lighting and all the glass and plastic. That 79 Molitor's $5. Most of the prices are not on those cards. I believe they're underneath the top loaders. There's a 07 complete factory sealed set. Cheap Hall of Fame rookies. I didn't have time to have this case open to look at this stuff, so I couldn't tell you what was in those boxes. Stars and rookies ranging between 50 cents and $5. Here's some factory sets from the junk wax era. Looks like the 91 Fleer is $20. The 91 Score is $25. And here's some wax boxes up here going for $40 to $50. And there's an assortment of all kinds of pop culture things in that case. More non-sports cards. So if you're a collector of things that are outside the realm of sports cards, but you're interested in cards from pop culture kind of things, this is a great place to go to check this out. Now, I don't know if these prices are great because this is something I don't collect, but if there's something here that you don't have that you're missing, maybe this is a great place to pick it up. There's Battlestar Galactica from the original series. That was a show I loved when I was a kid. This seller had a lot of uniform relic, bat relic cards. I thought the prices were a bit higher than what you could find on eBay. They're probably within Beckett range if you go by that, but based on eBay comps, I was seeing things that were like 60% of those prices or so on average. But again, if it's something that you need, there you go. Here's Cody at the dog show. We were at the Lebanon Valley Expo Center. And when we were done with this place, we headed over to Adamstown to check out antique malls, and thus these videos I'm making. So Cody was the only Bernese Mountain Dog here. He did get ribbons each time he was in, but he didn't get anything more than that. But it was a fun trip, and he had a lot of fun here as well. And right after this, I'll go over what I bought here. So stay tuned, please. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed that short tour of 272 Antiques, which is located on Route 272, also called North Reading Road, and the address is 1300 North Reading Road in Stevens, Pennsylvania, just south of Adamstown and north of Ephrata, Pennsylvania. Like I said, we were at a dog show at the Lebanon Valley Expo Center, and when we were done at the dog show, we headed over to Adamstown to check out the previous video, Mad Hatter, and Pine Hills Antique Malls. Also visited a place called Heritage. I'm not sure if that's the full name. Also on that road, and I picked up a couple storage boxes there. They didn't have any baseball cards. And then we made our way down to 272, which is my favorite antique mall of that whole road because I usually find something to buy there. So hello from Grimace and Omar the Orange Monster. And there's our local gnome, Nathan, spelled with a silent G. Boop, boop, boop. So what did I get? Well, that seller that had the Topps Bazooka packs, I bought 7 packs of those, and they were $3 each. I'm going to open these up on a separate video somewhere down the road. I'm not sure how soon that will be, but stay tuned for that if you're interested to see what's inside those. I've opened up those in the past. That seller has had, well, as far back as I can remember, they've had packs from Bazooka there. Now, the other seller that's my favorite seller at this place, I decided to pick up this 82 Kmart set. I have several cards in my collection that I've picked up just from random things, mystery boxes, stuff like that. But I've never had the full complete set. So I thought this was a great opportunity to get this, and this was only $2. So very happy to find that. I normally don't see these too much out there, but I do see the cards themselves and sometimes sold separately. So we might open this up in a future video somewhere down the road. I sometimes like to filter in small box set like reveals from the 1980s going into the early 90s, and they're usually a short video. And if that's something that interests you, stay tuned, check out the channel page, scroll down, you'll find probably a dozen or so of these videos I've done of opening small boxes. Panels, I don't actually have any of these as full panels. These were cut out from the wax boxes that they sold the wax packs in. I think they were in the bottom of the box. I think I have one individual card that I got out of one of those $5 what was the drugstore? Not Rite Aid, but the other one. I can't remember. Anyway, here they are. They usually have lettered numbering. Sometimes they have different colors than the base set. This is Wade Boggs, George Brett, and Darrell Evans and Andre Dawson. There's a little surface scratches, probably because, well, they were on a box and they're exposed outside of that. Doc Gooden, Ricky Henderson, Tom Lasorda, and Fred Lynn. Rick Russell, Jeff Reardon, Mark McGuire, and Dave Parker. And that one has a little bit of a crease on it. Cal Ripken, Jim Rice, and Nolan Ryan, and Ryan Sandberg. So that was $19.90. That was $4 for those. I'll move that off to the side here. This is from 1989. Also the 4 panels, also $4. We got Darrell Evans, Rich Gossage, Bill Buckner, and George Brett. Keith Hernandez, Greg Gross, Ricky Henderson, and Tom Lasorda. Curious choice picking Greg Gross. Jim Rice, Cal Ripken, Mike Schmidt, and Nolan Ryan. And Dave Winfield, Kent DeColvey, Don Sutton, and Bruce Sutter. And I don't have any of those at all. I'm trying to remember which one I have. I have like one card. I think it's from 91. The 88 box bottom panels. 4 panels, $4 again. I think I did some eBay comparison prices, and I don't think very many of them were selling for as low as $4. Juan Beniquez, Bob Boone, Steve Bedrosian, and Don Baylor. John Kruk, Marvell Wynn, Tony Gwynn, and Darrell Evans. Howard Johnson, Darryl Strawberry, Eric Davis, and Joe Carter. Mike Schmidt, Kent DeColvey, Ricky Henderson, and Nolan Ryan. Those are in pretty nice shape, I'd say. I think they're kind of hard to find them in really good condition because of the nature of where they were located. And I think this is the year I have like one card. And I think it's Robin Yount. So we've got George Brett, Andre Dawson, Brett Butler, and Burt Blyleven. Carlton Fisk, Ricky Henderson, Alfredo Griffin, and Dwight Evans. Dale Murphy, Dave Parker, Willie McGee, and Eddie Murray. Nolan Ryan, Robin Yount, Juan Samuel, and Jeff Reardon. I think my Robin Yount I pulled out of one of those $5 boxes. Why can't I remember the name of the drugstore? It's Walgreens. It was one of the Walgreens boxes. I don't know. It's probably in one of the videos I posted like last year or the year before. This caught my eye. I was like, pretty cool. A signed Cecil Cooper card. Looks in great shape. I don't remember what these large Donruss cards were called. This came out in 1985. Cecil was a great hitter. His one greatest season got overshadowed by George Brett because that was the year George hit .390 and he finished second with .352. Just about any other season in the 1980s, he would have led the league in batting average. That would have been more difficult in the 70s with Rod Carew, but yeah, Wade Boggs later on, but the time he did that, there weren't a lot of .350 hitting going on from too many players. That one season from George Brett was quite an anomaly in his career as well. I mean, he was a consistent hitter most of his career, but you don't normally hit .390 very often. All right. I had to get these. This is the one that caught my eye because this is one of my favorite shows when I was a kid, was Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. And here's Gil Gerard. I can't remember what her name is. Erin Gray, I believe. So I just had to pick this up, and when I saw it came with 1981 Topps baseball cards insert, I was like, wow, I didn't know that these were issued with this. And I do remember seeing this magazine back in elementary school, back in the late 70s. I'm trying to remember what year I left and went to junior high. It was sometime in the early 80s. I'm pretty sure I was in elementary school in 1980. and 81, because I was collecting baseball cards then. So I'm not going to go through all of these. Oh, it looks like they're all the same one. Maybe they have different inserts in each one. So we're not going to go... Oh, there they are. Shane Rowley and Rennie Martin. Or is it Rene Martin? I don't remember how his first name was pronounced. I do remember him in the World Series, though, very briefly. He wasn't with the Royals for very long. So there must be some more back further. At some point, I will try to go through this. There they are. There's the rest of them. 2 Champ Summers and 2 Craig Nettles cards. That's curious. Looks like they have the original numbering from the base set. And they look like they're in pretty good shape. They're very clean. The corners are sharp, considering how long of a period this has been. Let's see if this has a different set of cards. And it does. Okay. Terry Crowley and Elliot Maddox. And let's see if we can find... Oh, cool. Bob Boone and Tim Stoddard. So it looks like they doubled up on the back. Hey, this one has a neat little printing orb down here, or what some people like to call fish eyes. So that's actually neat. I like those little artifacts. And at some later point, I'll probably read through this. Here's a form to fill out to subscribe to it, I guess. Yeah, here's a little bit of an article on both of them. Yeah, that was my favorite show back then. That and Battlestar Galactica. Okay, that one we already did, I think. Oh no, these are both exactly the same. It's the same players. Yeah, Champ Summers and Greg Nettles. Alrighty, I'll put this back in this sleeve later after I'm done filming. Let's check out this one. This has 1982. It's also Dynamite magazine. Looks like what was that show called? Something on the Prairie. I never really watched that show when I was a kid. For some reason, it didn't catch my attention. Looks like these originally sold for $1.25 at Woolworth, so that's kind of cool that the price tag is still on them. There's 3 of them in here. Let's see. Here's our 82 cards. Steve Dillard and Lynn Jones. And let's see what's on the rest of the panel. It is Bobby Castillo. Let me lift this up a little bit. John Urea, Dave Frost, and Rick Sofield. They look like they're in really great shape. So I will definitely keep these in the magazines. I'm not going to separate them out. There's Jim Clancy and Frank Tanana. Almost looks like there's a little printing orb up here on Frank Tanana. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to check some other cards to make sure. And the back end has Ken Maka, Rick Camp, Mark Clear, and Rich Hebner. I guess back in the day, kids were supposed to pull these out and cut them with scissors, or have their parents cut them with scissors if they were unreliable with sharp objects. This one has different players, Terry Bulling and Mark Wagner. So that's pretty cool. And Dan Graham, Joe Simpson, Doug Bear, and Tom Halsman. No major stars, mostly common cards, but still, I never see these anywhere. And I have never seen the panels themselves, although I have seen 6-card panels at a recent antique mall that I visited not that long ago. Well, this is Hot Dog Magazine, 1983 cards. And there's the price. All 3 of these were $6 each for the 3 magazines. And this has Ricky Schroeder on the cover. And here we have Tony Perez and Bob Horner. We will have one Hall of Famer. Let's see what's on the last panel. Jim Slayton, Mike Caldwell, Ed Vandenberg, and Rich Gossage. And I don't know if you can make it out, but there's a tiny printing orb here on the border and a couple small ones here on Slayton's card. I know, I'm pretty weird. I think those things are cool, especially if they're really big. Okay, this one has the same cards as the last one. I don't remember Bob Horner having a beard, but he has a beard on that inset photo. Same cards as the last one. And Dave LaPointe, and I never knew how to pronounce this guy's name. I'd hate to say Udger because it might not be. I'll have to check it out at some point. Terry Crowley, George Capizzello, Paul Boris, and Mike Scioscia. Third year card for Mike Scioscia. His rookie is in 81. Yeah, I'll have to check this out. I never saw this guy play because he was always in the American League, and all I got to see were NL games because I lived in the National League city of Philadelphia growing up. And the last thing is this Phillies Today official scorecard magazine featuring one of my favorite players growing up, Bake McBride. So I saw that and I definitely have to grab that. That's $3. We'll quickly look at that. I probably won't spend too much time looking at it. This is going to be a long video anyway. But I don't want to drag it on for too long because I know you all have to get to whatever you want to look at next or get on with whatever it is you're doing. Old Toyota ad. Phillies Franks, I remember those. There's the Fanatic. There's Dallas Green. Some more coaches. Lee Elia passed away this year, sadly. There's Carlton Boone and Keith Moreland. Gary Maddox, Randy Lurch, and Lonnie Smith. When did this come out? I didn't check. I didn't check the year on it. Okay, 1980. This is from their World Series year. Schmidt passing Del Ennis as the home run leader for the club. There's Greg Gross, Del Unser, and Pete Rose. There's Rick Dempsey. Some more Orioles-related stuff. Great pinch hitters, Gene Freese and Dave Philly. So some historical stuff. I'm not used to seeing a Phillies scorecard book with this much writing. At least the few I've had before were much less. Ramon Aviles, Bob Walk, Kevin Saucier, and Dan Larson. Who remembers any of them? Luis Aguayo, Don McCormick, Jay Loviglio, and Ozzie Virgil Jr. Hey, Geno's. Ad for Geno's. Okay, the scorecard was never used. Orlando Izales. I don't remember him. Bob Dernier, Mark Davis, and Marty Bystrom. Larry Christensen with a full beard. I've never seen him with a beard before. John Vukovich, George Vukovich, and Dickie Knowles. So this is pretty cool. Nino Espinosa and Tim McCarver. Sparky Lyle. He was with the Phillies briefly. Best years were back with the Yankees. If you guys want me to do a filming of this book in more detail, let me know in the comments and maybe I could do one later on. But yeah, I want to get moving on because this is already a long video. Greg Luzinski, Dick Ruthven, and Bake McBride. Check out that hair on Bake. Mike Schmidt, Larry Boa, and Manny Trio. Manny was a really great second baseman. Warren Brewster, Ron Reed, and Tug McGraw. And there's your broadcasters. Richie Ashburn, Harry Kalas, Andy Musser, Steve Silverman, Chris Wheeler, and Tim McCarver, who later jumped ship and joined the Mets broadcasting and then eventually went to a network. All right, that's what I got there at 272 Antiques. I'm sorry this is such a long video, but there was a lot to cover, and I wanted to check the inside of those books. I didn't do that, and I saved it just for this video. So thanks a lot for watching, and hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a beep beep in the comments section. I do have something else from this trip coming up, maybe in the following week. While we were driving between the Lebanon area, I don't think that Expo Center isn't actually in Lebanon. I think it's south of it, but I don't remember what the place is called. But there was like a half-hour drive between there. We actually ran into some yard sales, and I picked up a box of baseball cards, and there's some neat stuff in there, and I only got it for 25 bucks. So stay tuned for that video. That one's coming down the pike. Take care, everyone. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Beep, beep.